Well, hi everybody, it's Lisa Tamati here at Pushing the Limits. It's wonderful to have you here with us today, and I've got a special guest waiting for me all the way from Christchurch. But before we get underway, as always, I'm going to ask you guys a favour. If you could go and give us a rating on iTunes, that would be fantastic. If you love the content, if you love the show and the stuff that we're putting out, it's a bit of a labour of love, so I really, really appreciate you guys giving us a big thumbs up on there on the ratings. Give us a 5-star, of course, that would be great in the review. And really appreciate you guys doing that. Today, the last few weeks actually, I've been doing a series on inspirational women athletes, and today I've got an inspirational male athlete on with us, and someone who's got a very interesting story, partly tragic story, but it's also a story of comeback and hope and guts and determination. So I'm really, really excited to interview today Ian Walker. G'day, Ian. How you going down there?
G'day, Lisa. Thanks very much. That's a heck of a build-up. I hope I can match it up.
Oh, you can, mate. You can. You've got an incredible story. So Ian is a mid-thoracic paraplegic, and I made sure I got that right just before.
You did.
So you had a T4 fracture, and so that means you were basically in a wheelchair. You're stuck in the wheelchair. And you had an accident in 2006, which was a bit of a cycling accident. So I tell you what, let's go back before the accident, Ian, and tell us a bit about who you were and what you were up to before this fateful day, if you like.
Yeah, well, I was a nationally ranked football referee. That's soccer in the old and we also ran marathons. I've run like 9 marathons. My best time was about 2 hours 57.
You're kidding me.
No,
wow.
So I was a long, tall streak of something, and it was sort of getting to the end. I knew my refereeing career was going to come to an end within the next 4 or 5 years, so I was just then going to start stepping out, getting into more long distance. I will admit to being a fan of yours back in those days, and seeing you run across Death Valley and something. I followed your career quite closely and thought, well, that's my next step, is start getting into something like the Coast to Coast and then the Kepler Challenge.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I then injured my Achilles refereeing a game of football. I turned into a hole in a football ground and just strained my Achilles. So I couldn't run, so I was actually out. My physio said, well, cycling's the next best thing. So I went, oh, okay, so I went out and bought myself a bike. And then 2 weeks later, I decided to argue with the truck and trailer unit and
run into the back of the truck.
Yeah, he came off a little better than I did. So
I bet. Yeah, it's a bit of a David and Goliath sort of match up there. So you ran into the back of the truck, from what I remember of your story? Is that right?
Yeah, I came down off a bridge and there was a T intersection on the left, and a truck and trailer turned right out of that across in front of me, which was fine. I had plenty of time to do that. So apparently I moved to the left and I was head down on my triathlon bar. Went round behind him and went straight ahead, and because he turned right, this other truck and trailer from the same street thought he could turn left. So he turned left blindly and then pulled over on the cycle lane, and I just rode straight into the back head first. Yeah.
And was it touch and go to survive such a major accident at the beginning? What was what are your memories of that horrific day?
Well, I can remember coming off the bridge and seeing the truck and trailer, knowing I had time, and then my next memory is lying on the ground and seeing this woman looking over me with this sort of horrified expression on her face. Now I can remember, because I had a backpack on, and I thought, my backpack's not fitting right, there's something wrong with it, it's not sitting on my back right. And then I realised I couldn't move my legs, and I went,
oh shoot.
I won't repeat what I said at the time, and then the rest, I can remember being put in the ambulance, and I heard someone say, you're not supposed to have parked there, and I think they were talking to the truck driver. But yeah, I mean, if I hadn't been wearing a cycle helmet, it would have killed me.
Yeah.
For sure, my cycle helmet ended up all cracked and crushed on one side. And what it did show to me is that, like, you're supposed to wear your cycle helmet 1.5 fingers from your eyebrows.
Yeah.
So it was about there, and the impact I took on the truck was right in here.
Yeah.
I had bruises, 3 bruises on my head from where the cycle helmet shape is.
Yep.
And I see a lot of people wearing them up here. And
yep, you do, yep.
And if you're going to do that, you might as well not bother wearing it. You've got to wear your helmet the right way. And it saved my life, so
Yeah, so you'll be a strong proponent for wearing your blooming helmet these days.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the strongest part of your head.
Right.
But yeah, you gotta sort of protect yourself as much as you can.
Did you come away with any brain injuries as well on top of that, or?
Brain injury. I mean, there was a massive concussion. I didn't suffer too much in terms of like bleeding on the brain or anything like that, but certainly in terms of the concussion, you know, the memory, I'll never be 100% from where I was, but yeah, I mean, I've recovered reasonably well from it.
Yeah, your brain's sort of come back, but you've been stuck with this not being able to move. So show me where, you know, from where down can you no longer feel or control, sort of like mid-chest or? Yeah,
I'm a sort of about 70% of spinal cord injuries are what they call incomplete, where you don't lose complete movement or feeling. Like my injury is about T3/4, so my third and fourth thoracic vertebrae, which were about there, they ended up going like that, sitting next to one another. So they put them back, one back on top of the other, and I had metal rods and screws all holding it all together. So basically from my nipples down, but because I'm on what's known as incomplete, I've got limited movement in my foot, left foot, and my left leg. So nothing, I can't do any I can't low bear on my leg. But that started to come back after about 2 months. So basically, if all my left side is pretty much, I've got some movement, but I can't feel anything. On my right side, because the nerves that control in the spinal cord that control sensation and pain, they cross over in the neck. So right goes to the left and left goes to the right.
Oh wow!
So my the limited movement I have is in the left, but all my pain and sensation is on the right side. So I get really sore right buttock.
Oh really?
If you pull the hairs on my right leg, I can feel that. But if you do anything on the left side, I can't feel it. And I'm pretty much like if I do that, I can feel it, but it doesn't. It's just like hitting wood.
It's like a numb. So is it a bit like, you know, because for us we can't imagine it. It's a bit like when you go to the dentist and they put an injection in and it's there, but you can't. That sort of a feeling, but just in your whole body.
So that would be a fair reflection on what.
And this crossover. So you've still got pain, like sitting pain, and on the opposite side from what you can actually feel. That's weird, eh?
Oh, it is. It's like if you go and watch a movie for sort of like 3 hours or something, you get that really numb thumb. I'm basically like that 24/7.
Wow.
I'm on medication, pain medication to help, but by the end of the day, my bum that right buttock gets really, really sore. But it's compounded because I've got that movement in my left side. My left buttock is more developed than the right buttock because the right doesn't do anything. So because I can move that leg, the left buttock a little bit. So I'm sort of like that. So they've got to build up my cushion so that I'm sitting straighter. But that means there's more weight going on my right, and that's the side that feels sensation. So it sort of gets worse. It just gets really sore.
I mean, these are all knock-on effects. You know what surprises me, having been on this journey with Mum that you would know about, is the things that you just have no idea about. You know, we all see the big things like you can't walk or you can't, but it's all the things like, you know, drop foot happen because you're lying in bed, and you know, or I don't know, you know, like Mum forgot that she had elbows, or you know, silly things that you wouldn't have thought of being a problem. You know, you only see the bigger picture when you see someone in a wheelchair, you see someone who's got an injury, and you think of the major life changes that would mean if that was you. But there's so much more to it, eh? There's so many layers of crap actually that you have to deal with.
It's a tricky one. I think. I mean, I worked full time for a while, and I always try to say to me that the wheelchair doesn't make a difference. Like my motto is don't let what I can't do stop me from doing what I can.
Oh, brilliant, love it.
And there's a sign outside the kitchen at the Burwood Spinal Unit, and I read that when I was in there, and I thought, well, that's where I want to be like. That's got to be your mindset. But you know, at the end of the day, you've got to accept sometimes that the wheelchair does make a difference, and I think the hardest thing I've had to probably accept is that it's harder to do stuff.
Yeah.
I read an interesting book by a guy from America, I can't remember his name, and he said that you break everything in a wheelchair, you break everything down into energy levels.
Yep.
And he said it takes an ordinary person, an able-bodied person, 2% of their energy levels of the day to get dressed in the morning.
Yeah.
I go to the toilet, get dressed. For someone in a wheelchair, someone like me, it's 8%.
Yeah. Hearing you.
And it's just, you probably don't, I think, as an able-bodied person, I would never have considered being in a wheelchair. Oh, can't walk, can't be that, okay, my arms might get tired, but it's, just being in a wheelchair in itself, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, that's what I found too with Mum, is that, to get her to actually to the point of going and actually doing something, it was like you had to be so organised, and it would take an hour and a half just to get her out the door, and then you might be out for an hour and you had to come back because, you've got to do things, and that whole, you've done nothing, you've done bugger all, and she's exhausted, and you had to build that up, but like you say, it takes so much energy just to put a pair of shoes on, or all those little wee things that we take for granted when we're
I'm lucky. I could have been more severely hurt. I could have been a quadriplegic, so I'm a I'm a paraplegic, so I've got full use of my hands.
Yeah, which is
fully independent. I'm lucky I don't have to wear a bag. With an indwelling catheter, I catheterise myself when I need to go. I feel when I need to go to the toilet, so I'm not like others where you just got to go a certain time. I don't go until I need to go. But in the morning, because I do my bowel regimen in the morning, sometimes it can take 20 minutes, sometimes it can take an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it's just
it's all of those little things.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah, so going to work full time. Yeah, it becomes a new normal, and you get used to it, I think, to a certain degree. But what surprises me with your journey, because we're both Mutual Aberration Society here, where I've watched you over the last couple of years and think it's fantastic. So Ian, for the listeners out there, Ian does a lot of hand cycle racing, and does crazy distances like ultra marathons with the cycle, and of course marathons, and you're sitting there with a New York Marathon t-shirt and Achilles International New Zealand on it. Tell us a little bit about Achilles and going to these big marathons, and what it means to you to be able to do that sort of thing.
I think way back when I was in the Burwood Spinal Unit, they did a Have a Go day, which was basically a disability expo that they had in Christchurch, and a lot of the people came to Burwood the next day and sort of showed all their stuff up, and there was a guy there brought some hand cycles along, and I climbed into one of those and thought, this is pretty interesting, because I suppose the hardest thing being in a wheelchair is doing cardio events. There's not really a huge amount of lot you can do for cardio events, and I can't play wheelchair rugby because I've got too much hand function, because it's really a game for quadriplegics, not paraplegic.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've played wheelchair basketball, but then I don't have the abdominal control to be able to sit upright in my chair well enough. I get able to be strapped in, and then you get tilted out, your hands get run over and all this sort of stuff. So I was really looking for something that, because I did love the running, is just going for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, you're an endurance athlete,
just yourself and your thoughts. And so, hand cycling came up, and I was up in Auckland, and I read about Achilles somewhere, and I got hold of a guy called Peter Loft, who's probably Mr. Achilles New Zealand for a fair amount of the time. He sort of stepped away a little bit from that now, but he told me about they're doing trips to New York to do the marathon over there, and Achilles gets a certain number of sort of entrants in the New York Marathon every year internationally. And so 2014 made the decision to go over, and went over with Achilles, and basically they're a disabled athletes charity, but they try and get athletes involved, sort of disabled athletes involved into some long distance events, and New York Marathon is probably the main one that they do. It's the most well known, but so there's Achilles are worldwide in South Africa,
fantastic,
all through South America.
So you have a whole range of disabilities. I hate if you want to use that word, but people with different problems, challenges?
Oh yeah, there's people with cerebral palsy people that have come back from maybe large weight issues, a lot of blind athletes. The thing I didn't realise with blind athletes is not only do you have to have one guide, person that runs along with the blind athlete, with them holding the rope, but they actually have to have about 4 blockers.
Oh, really?
Running around them as well to stop them being run into by other people.
Right. So
I mean, it's a wide range, and certainly in New Zealand they don't put limits on. If you're disabled, it doesn't matter how disabled you are. It is a little more difficult. A lot of marathons don't accept hand cycles because hand cycling comes under the Paracycling Association, not Para-Athletics.
Ah.
So some marathons, in New Zealand, there's not very many that allow hand cycling, but certainly in America, because I think because of especially since the war in Iran and Iraq with the veterans,
there's so many veterans,
a lot more doing hand cycling.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'll give you just a sobering note. At the New York Marathon last year, at the pre-start area, I was sitting there. We're in my hand cycle. I was next to this guy, and they have the Freedom Warriors, they're called over there, and they always use red shirts. And there was a guy next to me in this red shirt, and I had a look at him. He had no right leg, and he had a badly scarred left leg. And I said, "Oh, are you in Marines or the Army or in Iran or Iraq?" And he goes, "No, I was at the Boston Marathon."
Oh my gosh, really?
He was standing at the Boston Marathon when the bomb went off.
Oh.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of things in perspective when you think, we're over in New Zealand.
Again.
Don't have to. He was just standing watching a marathon. So.
And
pretty lucky.
Yeah. Well, and then we live in a peaceful society where we, thank goodness, most of us don't have to deal with that crap.
Yeah.
And to be thankful for that. You know my friend who passed away, Samuel Goodson.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was, his attitude was just so, it always held before my eyes how lucky we were, because he was like, I'm the luckiest bloke alive. And, when he first said that, you're like, what? How can you say that, with the problems that he had, which were massive? And he just said, but I was born in New Zealand, and I was born in a day where there was technology available to help me. And I was born in a family who loved me and gave me everything they possibly could and enabled me to do stuff. And and that's why I'm the luckiest bloke around. And that was his whole. He didn't just pay lip service to that. He actually lived and did that. And he, despite all the difficulties, went traveling, backpacking around Asia and married a beautiful lady and had 2 children despite all the odds, and the problems associated with that. And he just lived life full on, And unfortunately, we had that accident in the wheelchair when we were actually training for that event. We were going to do raising money for another little boy from Christchurch, actually, with the same debilitating thing. And he fell out of his wheelchair and unfortunately hit his head and died, which was just absolutely for us, mind-blowing. And but his, he was one of those people that he lived far too short a life, but he just lived so big and so large and had so many dreams and fulfilled those dreams one after the other, and didn't let anybody tell him he couldn't do anything, Yeah,
I think for some reason, I'm not sure having my accident sort of changed my outlook, but I think especially for someone like him, it's like, well, you don't know how finite your lifespan's going to be.
Definitely.
But I think one thing you do learn when you have an injury like this is that every day you've got to make every day the best you can make it, because I could quite easily have been killed, but for some reason I wasn't. I was lucky.
Yep.
I fractured my C6 vertebrae at the same time, but my injury level actually ended up down here, so I could have ended up in a breaking my neck. So that didn't happen. So there's a saying: paraplegics, we want the use of our legs. Yep. Quadriplegics want the use of their hands.
Yeah.
So look, I'm
everyone's relative to what you haven't got, hey? In other words, stop.
I'm pretty well off. I always remember being a guy telling me at the Burwood Spinal Unit that he said, if you're ever feeling down about the situation, go to the brain injury clinic.
Yes, yeah.
And look at people who've had strokes, people who've had had serious head trauma, and that physically there may be nothing wrong, but
they got no head left. I mean, that was my mum.
Exactly.
She had nothing. She was that locked-in syndrome, whatever you call it. She had lights on, nobody home. unable to even lift a hand or do anything, at the start. And to bring her back on this journey, this massive, amazing journey that we've been on for the last 2 years. And I just today I was having lunch at the sushi place, our favourite restaurant, with Mum and Dad, and a man walks in on a walker very, very, very slowly with his wife, obviously had a stroke, and he sits down on the table next to us. So I turned around and said, "Oh, hey mate, how you going? You had a stroke or something, have you, mate?" And he said, yeah, had a stroke. This has happened, that's happened. And I just said to him, "Oh yeah, my mum had, was way worse than you, mate, way, way worse." And I told him her story and told him, hyperbaric and the stuff that I'd done with her. And then his wife came over, and we just had a really cool, at the end we were all hugging, and he went, out of there going, "Okay, I've got to fight," because his wife had been telling him, "You've got to fight, you've got to discipline, you've got to train, you've got to really work hard." And he's like, "Well, I just want to sit and watch telly, And I go, you got to fight, man." And we walked out of there, and he watched Mum get up and walk off, and you could just see him going, "Holy heck!" And I said, "She had nothing. She had absolutely nothing." And everybody's situation's different, but if you've got hope and you've got fight, you've got a chance,
Yeah, I think your mum didn't have nothing. She's had probably that you've got in spades to it's just determination.
Yeah, but she didn't even have any of that. Like, she had no self-determination at all because she had no brain function. Like she was like, she's a determined person now and was before, but in that period you had to be that for her. She didn't have any, she wasn't there. So
I think in some ways it's a bit like, I suppose, if you're running and you don't run for a long time, you may lose. But I think, I'm not a neuropsychologist or neuroscientist or anything like that, but I think it's probably a bit like where you get muscle memory, where you don't run for a long time and you start running, the muscles start remembering, "Oh yeah, I remember doing this." I think even with a brain injury like that, I think the fact that your mum was determined before, and look, you've had a lot to do with the way she's got, but I think at the same time your mum's probably, you may have woken up that sort of latent. I always remember when I got this movement in my big toe at the spinal unit, and then that moved into my foot and into my lower leg, and
wow.
They stood me up on a standing frame, and they put a caliper on my right leg, which locks my leg straight, because my right leg doesn't do anything. And then they put me then they actually manually lifted my left leg, and then I sort of lifted my right leg through. Well, they put me in a harness and lowered me down onto on a treadmill that was going really, really slowly.
Yep.
As soon as my left leg hit the treadwalk, it walked. It just the brain knew. Oh yeah, donk.
Wow.
Just step. I mean, it wasn't pretty, and I couldn't do it much. And I'm at a situation now where I put that caliper on my right leg, and using a walking frame.
Yep.
I can step with my left leg.
Yep.
Take a step, and then I have to take the weight of my hands or my arms.
Yep.
And then hitch my right leg through with the caliper on it. And then I've got the weight, I can then transfer the weight back onto that right leg because the caliper's locked up, and then take that next step. So I can't load bear on my left leg. But I mean, I remember that week at the Bird Spinal Unit, my consultant said to me, based on your injury and MRI scans, he said you've got a 20% chance of some sort of recovery.
Wow.
Be it standing or whatever. But he said, we've got to tell you now that it's not great, it's 20%. So you sort of think, 20%?
Yeah.
It's better than 0%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And again, I mean, look, I'm lucky because, my injury was incomplete. So
there is still a chance. Is there a chance of even now, especially with the new technologies with exoskeletons and things that are starting to come about, is there a chance for you, do you think, that in the future, if you can keep yourself strong enough, that you might be able to walk around the house with an exoskeleton? Is that a
I had to go on a Rex Spinix exoskeleton, which is a one developed in New Zealand by a couple of guys up I'm not going to, and they're now gone international. And that was a freestanding exoskeleton. I mean, I've seen the rewalk ones where you use crutches and step your leg, but I can't really see too much point in it because it's still loading up your shoulders. But the thing with the walking side and why I still do it, even though it's not, I can't go very far, and I can't load bear on that left leg, is that, and the right leg does nothing. It's still that, people talk about getting in a standing frame for bone density.
Yes,
It's the load, impact load. Yep. It's the impact load on your long bones. That's what builds bone density. Standing in your standing frame does help, but it's like minimal. So you really got to get that impact back into That's what maintains the bone density. Because at the end of the day, that's the thing that stops you from, if they come up with a cure of being able to walk again, is because your bones aren't strong enough to take the loading.
Okay, so your bones always, more than your ligaments and stuff, and your muscles.
You can always build your muscle. I mean, I've had times I've had to stop my standing and that because of operations and things. And so you lose a lot of that muscle that you may have built up. But then, I mean, it's hard. Yeah. But you can. I mean, I've never got to a situation where my leg. I mean, I'm also part of my injuries. I get real bad muscle spasms. I've actually got an internal pump, which I've got in my abdomen here, which delivers a drug 24/7 through a catheter up my alongside my spinal cord, and that sort of try and help keep spasms down. But so basically, it's like having a wet towel wrapped around your muscles and then tighten. It's sort of like that. I'm like that pretty much from my chest down. But what this drug does is it sort of helps. So I have to make a decision on the balance of how much drugs to take, enough drugs to get rid of the spasm so that it's not too uncomfortable. Yeah. But at the same time, what the spasm does is it gives me some sort of muscle tone. Not strength, it's just tone. Yeah. Like I've been 11 years in a wheelchair, and normally people have been in a wheelchair that long, their legs are like really skinny. Well, I've still got reasonable muscle bulk, especially in my calf muscles. Amazing. So that's the decision I face with. I put up with spasm to at least have, keep some sort of muscle.
So the spasms, are they extremely painful? Are they like, the big ass cramps that you can get?
Yeah, sometimes they can be. I don't get the big kicks. If I straighten my legs out, like if I sit in my wheelchair and straighten my legs out with my heels on the ground, they normally go into a kick, go into the old kicking motion. Wow. And then the big thing is when you're wheeling along, and I mean, I probably can't show it in this, but I start my leg bouncing, like my leg's now bouncing. Yep. And I can't stop it.
Yeah, wow. Yep.
It'll stop eventually, but yeah, you just lose that control. It's the worst thing is when you're wheelchairing along somewhere and you hit a bump and your legs start going bounce. Things fall off your lap and.
See, all these things you just have no idea, do we? We've just got no idea how easy it is.
Yeah, you got to provide some laughs.
You got to provide some laughs. Oh, Mum does that quite regularly as she asses over somewhere on the ground, and oh dear, it's all those little things in the whole process of it that you just underestimate. Or with her, I face problems. I have to repeat myself like a billion times because that muscle memory isn't there. Like every movement pattern has to be broken down into its components. And we do things automatic, so I don't know how do you get up from a seat? Where do you push off from? Which muscles are you using? Because she can't identify the muscles, and she can be doing something for 3 or 4 months, and then the next day she still can't remember how to do it. Like today at the gym, we were doing chest exercises on the machine, and she does them every week, and today for some reason she decided, I don't know how to push, I can't find that muscle, and you're sitting there going, oh, for crying out loud, we've done it for the last 10 weeks, you know how to do it, come on. And it's those things that you sort of, when you haven't had a disability yourself, you just don't get it, that you can't locate, where is my elbow, that this is not straight elbowed, this is crooked, this for her straight, or this is straight, sitting in the chair, all those sort of little things that the brain is completely rewiring itself And the stages that we've, like the level we've managed to get to now, where she's able to walk and balance and pick up things off the ground and drive a car and, you know, do all those little things are just amazing. But it's that we never go for a walk more than 3 steps without me telling her, pick up that right leg, put it through here, aim for this, back straight, you know. And so you just constantly in her ear, you have to be this correction officer. Mm-hmm. It feels like that for her. I'm sure she dreams about me in her sleep, going, lift that leg up, put that foot here, you know, back straight, chin up. But those are the things you have to do to reinforce the brain's connection to that part of the body. I mean that's difficult. Like for us, the spinal cord injury people, we don't know where our legs are. Yeah. I'll wake up or in the middle of the night, I'll wonder. I feel my legs are going to the left, but they're actually facing off to the right. Or you think your foot's, while you're sitting in your chair, you think your foot's in one position, but it's in another position. And that's probably the hardest thing when it comes to driving. Is obviously because we drive with our hands, but it's you've got to know where your feet are. And the worst thing is when your foot slips underneath the brake. Yep. Because all that happens is when we push the hand control to operate the brake, it's still pushing the brake pedal down. It's just got a bar running down that actually pushes the brake down. So if your foot slips underneath the brake pedal and you don't know, and then you go to push the brake and suddenly it's like, oops, you got to move that leg out of the way. So you got to physically lift the leg out of the bloody way. I mean, I'm lucky I can drag my left foot a little bit. But, no, for someone else, it's got to be. A whole lot of things. So what have you got coming up, Ian? Like you've just come back yesterday. You said you did a 74-kilometre ride somewhere. Like what is that your daily bloody? Is that what you do every week for breakfast or what? No. I think with the one thing the new bike does, Handbiker very kindly sponsored me for New York, was it's a lot lighter. Yeah. And it's obviously the riding position now is a lot more comfortable, and it was a beautiful day. It was about 26 degrees yesterday, so I just, from where I am, I actually live about 35k southeast of Christchurch. Right. So I just went for my normal ride, and I thought I'll just go a little slightly different way, because I've just added go riding around Lincoln as a ride. That normally takes me about 57 minutes. So what I did in this case, I actually went a slightly different direction, and then we went through Lincoln, and then some very good friends of ours own a bed and breakfast in Rolleston, so I thought, my partner was going to pop in and see them, so I thought, I'll just call in there and say hello. Yep. Because I wasn't going to be able to be with Louise, so then I just thought, then it was just coming back, so it just ended up being 74. I will admit to taking a power gel Saturday at about 50k actually made it. I actually felt pretty good on for the last 20k. So I think I wasn't too bad. You need to get your nutrition and things sorted, and you're doing those sort of ultra distances. I think that's incredible. Well, I had about, I think I had about 2 litres of because I've got a backpack that I put on the back of my bike, and I just got home and just pulled into the carport. I went to take the last couple of sups of water and finished. Wow. And do you think that whole exercise thing has helped you like keep a certain amount of muscle tone and the health of your whole system, your digestion, your brain function, because you're actually got cardio fitness happening despite not having legs that work? Oh, I think it's if I miss handcycling for a few days, I get really grumpy and irritable, and just the same as everyone else when addicted to exercise. Yeah, and I think it's being in a wheelchair. The hardest thing is obviously sitting is not. We weren't designed to sit. We were designed to be standing and moving around, and so I think lying flat in a hand cycle, although it does bring on the odd spasms, at least it's not. I'm not sitting, which is squashing all the organs sort of all into one little clump, and I think it certainly helps in terms of my digestive and bowel system. And you know, I mean, if I go for a really long ride, the next day everything sort of, excuse the pun, flows a little bit better. So I'd recommend anybody that's got an injury like that, if there's some way
Because it's all the thing, the better your heartbeat is, the stronger your heartbeat is. Like I just got this app on my phone where you just put your finger over the camera and the flash, and it reads your heart rate, and then you can log off, and it says general, after sleeping, before sport, after sport, and you can like log it and go back to refer it. And I've just started doing that, and it's it's trying to get. I think my average at the moment is about 58.
Wow, that's really low. That's good.
But
so
I'd like to get it.
So you're despite the fact that you're in a wheelchair, despite the fact that you have to have drugs pumped into you every day, and all the other problems that you have, you're pretty damn healthy then. Like you've managed to keep your health at a level that.
I think that the fitter you are, I think that what the whole well-being is, and it's I think it's just knowing that. I think it's just the knowledge of knowing that you're fit, that you're doing the most you can to be better for your body. And because it used to be, I think it was the leading cause of death for paraplegics used to be renal failure.
Really?
And it's still the kidneys. Kidneys are still important. Bladder's still important. But the more you can do to make everything else work. I mean, nowadays the life expectancy is not a lot different between a paraplegic and an able-bodied person. As long as I think it's like anything. If you sit on the couch and do nothing,
exactly.
You're going to lessen the chances of having a long life. But if you get out and there's no reason why. Everyone says I don't consider myself wheelchair bound. I just consider myself someone that happens to use a wheelchair for accessibility and transport. That's all.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean I can't do a whole lot of that. I mean, I can go to the gym. I can still. I can't sort of lift weights per se, but I use the cable weight machines. I can still do. I can do the one where the weights are all stacked up and then you do the pull downs.
Yep.
I can pull down 72 kilos.
Wow, shoot. You see that? Yeah. And it's the attitude though, isn't it? Like, how did you, like when this first happened to you, did you have a phase where you went, stuff it, I don't want to be here? You must have seen a lot of people go through a phase like that.
Yeah, I don't think I ever. I mean, I got angry. Sure, I did a lot of swearing and.
Yep.
I did a lot of questioning as to why it had to happen to me, and because it has a flow-on effect to so many other parts of your life.
Oh yeah, totally.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Yep. And and as Ben Lucas said to me that day, you can always be worse off. And I think at the end of the day, I played competitive sport, football to a reasonable level, and I was a goalkeeper, so I got injured all the time. So I think in some respects, I just saw it as another really bad injury.
Yep.
I will admit that the lying on the ground that day of the accident was pretty devastating.
Yeah.
Realising I couldn't move my legs. That
scary
was,
as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, that's some pretty heavy stuff. But I was talking to my physio. She was one of the physios at Burwood, and we're chatting away. It was a couple of years ago, and we're talking to another physio, and he said, "Oh, what was Ian like at the spinal unit?" And she said, "Oh, he was positively euphoric." And I thought, I can't remember. So I wouldn't have said I was euphoric. She said, "No, but you always went down to the gym. You always did all your exercises.
You did what you needed to do."
Yeah, look, I cried.
Of course.
At nights on my own and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is what it is, and I'm not dead. So
you got up and kept going. Basically, you just, for the want of a better description, you couldn't get up very far, but you managed to just keep going.
Look, it's no less than, you made the decision to run across Death Valley. I mean, no. I'd say no sane person would do that, but
definitely
you just say, right, well, listen, I'm going to set my goal. Your goals have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they've got to be achievable, they've got to be relevant, and they've got to be timely. And my decision was, well, I'd love to be able to walk again, but that's too far away as a goal. So when I got the movement in my toe, it was like, okay, let's see where I can take this. And then I'll push that as far as I can go, and that's all I'm still doing now. And look, every day I get up and I try and move my right leg, nothing happens. So, I mean, I can wiggle my toes a little bit. But, you know, during the day, look, and a lot of times I think, you know, I miss not being able to, like yesterday, before going for a run, it was like, my bike ride was like, so I've got to get up, I've got to do my bows, then I've got to get all my gear on, then I've got to put my suntan lotion on because you're lying facing the sun.
Up. Yeah, of course.
I've got to put all this stuff on my face, and then I've got to get all my gear, then I've got to get my bladder thing sorted out, then I've got to wheel out to the bike, then I've got to turn the bike around, then I've got to check the bike over, make sure all the lights and everything are working. Then you've got to get out of the wheelchair into the bike, then strap to get yourself all, put your legs up and everything, then lie down, then make sure everything, then go for your ride. Whereas before, you just throw on a pair of running shoes,
and run out the door.
Sure, the C6 run out the door. Or, you know,
I get it.
You can't.
You know,
and look, I can't decide. Oh heck, I've forgotten my TV remote, so I'll just get out of the chair and
go and get it. Yeah.
I mean, I do. I mean, you suggested to me a few months ago to get to do talking. I was talking to a school a couple of weeks ago, and I actually did a talk on last Thursday at the Lions Club.
Oh, fantastic! I'm glad you're doing that.
I said everyone, when they all introduced me, they came in, I said, all right, just before we get started, just if everyone could just stand and then walk around a little bit, like, and then sit down. I said, now how easy was that?
Yeah, and I can't do that.
Say, well, not all of us can do that.
Yeah, and it's just a really, really good reminder, I think, to everybody to be thankful for what you do have. And to train I think what stood you in good stead really too is the fact that you were an athlete before this happened, and you had therefore the mentality of an athlete. Oh, I've just got to train and I've got to do what I can do to get through it, rather than I give up. You know, like the man I talked to today, he just, you know, his wife wants to fight and push him to do more, and he just going, I'd just rather watch TV. You know, and she's going, yeah, but you're losing everything really quickly, you know. And I think if you have that mentality of, no matter what, I've got to train something. Whatever's working, I've got to train it, and push the boundaries out. I think, I know with Mum, when she got enough self-determination back, that she was willing to do the hard yards, you know, and she was willing to do it every day. And I said to her as I walked out of the restaurant today, I said, well, you know, you needed to be there today. That you were meant to be here to talk to this person. And she said, yeah. And I said, do you sometimes feel like not doing the stuff I tell you to do? And she never has admitted it before. She goes, yeah, some days I just wake up and wish I could have a day off, and I can't. And I said, yeah, we can't. We just, not even Christmas Day, not even birthdays, never. You just have to do that. You because you're not doing that normal walking around like, you know, everyone else is. So you have to be that person that grinds it out day in, day out, day in, day out. And that, she said, yeah, some days I just want a day off.
Look, and I think it's, you know, frustration when you see people have got an ability to do something that they don't use. And I think I almost feel sorry for some of the health professionals because they're almost in a position where they can't.
Yep.
Sort of like, I had a guy that I found out through work, he'd broken his back and he was having a hard time at Burwood, and, you know, he had a wife, they had a 2-year-old boy, and she was pregnant, and he broke his back doing some kite surfing.
Yeah.
And he was having a hard time, and they were saying if anyone can help with money and that sort of thing. And the boss said to me, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, money's not really going to help him." I said, if he's having a few issues. So I got hold of the spinal unit, spoke to him, went and saw him, and it's almost like he's saying, "Why is it?" I said, "I go to the gym and they don't get me standing and walking. There's other people who's standing up." And I said, "Damien, you've seen your MRI. He had a complete injury. He's got no movement, no feeling, nothing." I said, "That's it. You know, your spinal cord stuff. It's gone. You know, you're having bowel problems, you're having bladder problems. You know, but it doesn't mean you can't do stuff. It just, you know, you've now got to turn the page. You've now got to shut that chapter off. Like I had 44 years of being able to do stuff with my legs, and so I tried to do the most of that with my refereeing and my running, because I had an ability to do something to push that as far as, I mean, I was never a world-class athlete, but, you know, you do what you've got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's one thing I always got from following your career is that you had, despite all the problems that you had, that you still achieved a really something satisfying to you, but it's inspirational to others. So, and I thought, well, that's the least. Even if you're only inspiring yourself, that's enough reason to do stuff. Yeah. Don't worry about if you're lucky enough and that ticks a few boxes for other people. That's really good, but you should be doing all you can every day to inspire yourself to do stuff. And if you inspire yourself, you'll find it easier to inspire others.
Yeah.
But it's getting people to, I suppose, and where Damon was concerned, I said to him, look, okay, you can't. There's some things you can't do, but I think I read something 10,500 things people can do, sort of generally every day. And if you lose the use of your legs, it drops it to about 8,500.
So there's still a hell of a lot that you can cope with.
Well, I reckon I'm going to nudge 9,000. I think I'm on for that. But yeah, look, it's it gets frustrating sometimes, but this is.
But you're fine.
A guy came and saw us at Burwood. He was a painter, and he was quadriplegic, but he painted with his mouth.
Wow.
Brush in his mouth, and he said to us, "This isn't a dress rehearsal.
Yeah,
you're in a wheelchair.
This is it. That's a hard thing to accept, I should imagine, the long process. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not too bad. I get pretty good parking.
I don't know, you still got to pay for those bloody stickers that you get, don't you?
Yeah, it's only $30. And you just got to make sure you get used to it. But yeah, I mean, look, things like you can't read stuff in the supermarket, but there's always someone there to help. And look, I very rarely have to take my trolley back. Someone's always.
Yeah, people are marvellous generally. They're very, very helpful, general public, eh? Yeah. So,
and I've got some pretty cool wheels as well, so.
You do have some very cool wheels, I must admit. So if you're a bloke who's into wheels, you've got some fancy-looking machines there,
You've got to have that.
and your lovely partner, she's, with you through this whole process?
No, my relationship didn't last.
The one that you were
my
in?
Accident.
Yeah.
No, and that's, I'm not blaming her. I suddenly wasn't the guy that she was expecting.
Yeah.
No, and look, being at spinal unit, it was like, who's ever going to be interested in someone in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
And look, the nurses there were saying, look, it's, people will always see past the chair, and I'm going, yeah, that's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's surprising. There was an article on me in a magazine, Catwalk Trust magazine, and Louise had just come to New Zealand to check it out. She's gone back to England to come back, and she just saw this online. There was a photo of me and my email address, because I was looking for people to do handcycling training within Christchurch, and she sent me an email, and we sort of emailed back and chatted, and
marvellous.
Yeah, it's been
the rest is history.
Eight years, and look, a lot of what I do, I couldn't do. I mean, I did the Buller Marathon a couple of weeks ago, and she had to drive in front of me with the car with the hazard lights on. She had a sign and everything on, but for me to compete in the Buller Marathon, that was the
you need.
And I mean, I just get on my bike and away I go. But probably she has to ride in front and judge some parts of the Buller going down. I was getting up to 60k, so she's got to ride in front of me, trying to judge for speed. And of course, I made the stupid mistake. The Buller, you start off and you go 8 kilometres away and turn around at Berlin's Hotel and then head back to Westport. Well, I was in the zone, and for some reason I can remember going. I rode through the turnaround and just kept on going. I'm riding on, and then suddenly I'm looking at 14k on my odometer, going, hold on a minute, I think I've missed it. I rode 54 instead of 42. Still beat 3 hours.
It's still
I mean, Louise is amazing, and she probably does too much.
Yeah.
For me at times, but I mean, for any of those in my situation, look, it's I mean, the wheelchair is not it's just a manifestation of who you are. It's not who you are. It's people always find good in you.
Good people will find good people will find good people. If and it's luck for all of us, really, isn't it? If we
I mean, things happen to you.
Yeah, well, crikey, I've had a very interesting past.
Simon.
Oh, yeah, he's wonderful. He's an absolute doll. and I've been very, very lucky, but, you know, not all the way along. It's certainly been interesting.
I think in a lot of cases, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, you go through that fire and come out the other side.
Everything I look like, that's what I look, you know, like strength comes from struggle. The more you've had to fight for things, the more you've had to overcome. It either makes you or it breaks you, and I'm not going to be broken. So, you know, you get back up, you put your head back up and say, I'm ready to go again. You have a cry, you have a drama queen moment, and then you get back up again and keep going.
I think sometimes people like you, and I think you do it with your swapping, and it's something I want to do with that. And something I do when I coach younger referees is that you can't coach experience. You can't coach life experience.
No.
But if we can take what's happened to us in our lives and have got to us where we are now, if we can get people to realise what they have and that they can achieve the same that maybe we have without having to go through all that
without the crap
to get we are.
Yeah.
But look, this is our mindset now. This is what we feel for you to be successful and achieve things that you want to do. You know, this is where you've got to be. And look, we can, especially you can say it because you've had your personal struggles, and you know with your mum, and then you know with all your long distance stuff. It's like, you know, you've got a unique ability to tell people, look, you know, if you can start here to go there,
and we
rather
can
than all the way
it.
back here to get there. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm saying the same thing. Look, I lost the use of my legs 11 years ago, but you know, it hasn't changed me too much from who I am.
No, if anything, you're stronger and better, and you know, and that's what you know. Like it is.
Lost some weight.
Well, that might be a good thing. But it is, you know, it is about, you know, like when you're coaching, and trying to inspire and stuff. It's about trying to give people the shortcut there, you know, and it doesn't always work because, like you say, sometimes people have to go through those experiences, and you can lead a horse to water, but sometimes you can't make them drink, and they have to make their own identity shifts, and they have to make their own, you know, pathway. But and I do the same for other people that I listen to and who are my role models and mentors. I try to learn as quickly from them so that I don't have to go through the long pathway, and I can get directly to the goal line without having to do everything, you know, 10 times around the bends, you know. And that's what having good mentors and having good role models, I think, is all about. Is they can shortcut that process for you. But the
secret thing also too is that you've got to realise that to be successful, you don't have to run across Death Valley. You know, you don't have to do a lot of things. It's just like, as long as what you're doing is taking what you've got, and not everyone's going to be a super athlete. Not everyone's going to be able to run for 2.5, 5 days. You know, not everyone can hand cycle for 70k, but at the end of the day, you can do what you can do. At least push yourself. As far as you really can at what you're doing. That's got to be, I think, if that's your mindset. You know, we'd be a lot of people would be a lot better off. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Ian, thank you so much for sharing your story and your life's philosophy and your attitude, because I think you're a fantastic role model, and I hope you get more into the speaking and being because you know, I watch your stuff on social media and I just think it's so inspirational, and I love what you're doing. I love that you're still fighting, and you know, I show my mum your little videos, and she thinks it's the coolest thing since sliced bread, because she feels like there's other people going through struggles too, you know, and I think that comradeship is really, really important for others to have, and even if their situation is different, you know, and you give people hope, you give people guidance and inspiration, and I think that's a fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing your story today. Any parting words there, Ian?
No, just don't do what you can't do. Stop from doing what you can, and Lisa, don't sell yourself short either. You've helped me a lot. before, during, and after my accident. So
mate.
You went out of the box.
Thank you so much. I don't deserve that at all, but thank you very much. And I hope we get to meet and race beside each other. I might be a bit slower than you, but we can have a beer at the finish line together.
Only downhill.
Only downhill. Definitely downhill. All right, matey. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Ian.
Thanks, Lisa.